Hi there, my name is Alona, this is my knitting channel, and today we are going to rate all my summer knits. I think that the weather is finally great, at least I hope so. So it's really time to rate all that I have for the summer and probably give you some inspiration for future summer knits. Today we are going to rate all my summer knits using this sheet from Superb to C, probably not sheet grading system, but let's go like that. And we will start from T's and then go to my tanks. The first T that I want to show you and rate, this one, this is Purl T. It was a test knit and it's quite new, but I have worn it several times, so there is some stuff that I want to tell you about it. It's knitted in double-stranded Filcalana Merci that was kindly gifted for this test knit, and I really love the color. This is a classic raglan tee that you are knitting top down, starting from the collar that is made with half twisted rib. Then you are knitting in 2 stitch patterns for the body and for the sleeves, and you're having these beautiful, at least for me, really beautiful raglan details only with stockinette stitch. It has quite boxer fit, which I really prefer for my knitting garments, and it has short sleeves with texture, body with texture, and this, like on the side you have traveling part of the raglan stitch that go in directly to the end of the tee. The designer of this pattern is Wise Knit, and it's definitely easy to knit because you knit it on 6mm needles. It's easy to wear and easy to pair with something else, and I think that I would definitely give it an A, because it's just the stuff that really to throw on and wear, plus it's quite drapey, and I love this stitch pattern, so it's good. The next one is my Friday tee that has, I think, slightly unwoven ends. I put it on one of the sleeve, but it's not a problem. This is this pattern by Petit Knit, and I truly fell in love with this pattern when I saw it at first. It was my probably second summer knit or third summer knit that I started knitting previous year. I didn't know a lot about gauge, and that's why it's knitted with slightly wrong gauge. The pattern recommends to knit this tee with fingering weight merino, but I thought, like, why I'm going to knit a tan or a tee in merino? It would be too hot. So I knitted it using Mandarin Petite, which is sport weight yarn. That slightly changed the look of this tee because it's quite drapey. It's much more drapier than the original sample, but it's slightly too big. It intended to be with some negative ease, if I'm not mistaken, like the pattern recommends, but I knitted it with a little bit of positive ease, and I was so tired of knitting it, to be honest, because it's full broken rib, and from time to time you get a bit distracted and you have to redo the whole round. I don't know why, but Purl T didn't have such problems, and it's knitted on 3mm needles. This is a holy grail, I think, of this video, because it really took a lot of time. For me, I can rate this tee as C, because there's nothing wrong with the pattern itself, but for me it didn't quite the item that I wanted to have, and I still couldn't understand the reasoning of having full merino tee, but I'm sure that in cotton this tee will look as good as it looks in merino, but I still wear it from time to time, but I'm not too happy with it. Plus, I'm not sure that these colors are really mine. So we'll have it as a C. And the third, my knitted tee is this one. This was mine as a test knit. This is Minto tee by Amazing Knitonomy. Probably, if you know about cable knitting, you definitely heard about her. She creates such beautiful cable designs, and she knits a lot of other designs. And if you're really into cables, I highly recommend to follow Knitonomy, because all of her creations are absolutely stunning, and she knits dresses from time to time. She has Minto tee dress, and it's, you know, it would take a lot of time, but it's so beautiful. But let's come back to this tee. So this tee is knitted on, I knitted in 4mm needles, so it's not so struggling. It didn't take so much time, surprisingly. Full cable tee didn't take so much time as my Friday tee. It's interesting cabled pattern, and why I enjoyed knitting it so much, because you don't need to count rows. Thumbsing is happening each round, and that's why, as you can see, you have like cabling on this cable. On this you don't have it, and then you're switching. In this case, you haven't really everything happening each round, and it's much easier to knit. This is a drop shoulder tee with short sleeves, with classic 1x1 rib edging. You're starting from the back panel, knitting right front yoke, left front yoke, then you're joining, finishing your yoke, then joining the round. You know all this stuff. I knitted it with Pinta Pasquale. This is merino silk blend, and I feel that it's not too hot as fully merino item, and I quite enjoy wearing it and knitting it, and I like the color. It's so dark, deep, but not too dark. It's really balanced, and I think that's definitely should be like superb, because this is amazing item. I wore it quite a lot of times, and I don't see a lot of peeling. Probably I just need to slightly depeel it, you know, to remove this like initial fluff that may happen when you're wearing your items. And it's it. It's not too warm, it's not too cold, really perfect for transitional weather. Highly recommend knitting it if you're thinking about knitted tee. And that was it about my knitted tees, and right now we are going to talk about tops. The first top that I knitted, the first top that I want to show you, it's not the first that I've knitted, I'm wearing right now. This is Peplum top. I'm gonna show like some videos over here, so you'll see the peplum, because I don't want to stand up right now, just to be sure that everything on the frame. And it's knitted with Isager Bemulin and Isager Alpaca 2. Still not sure if it's not too itchy for me, because I feel slightly itchiness of alpaca. I'm not sure about alpaca, probably it's wool, because this yarn, like Alpaca 2, has 50% of wool, 50% of alpaca, so probably this may be wool. But I saw this top when Knit Purl Girl just showed it for test knit. She organized a call for testers. I saw it, fell in love, bought the yarn, but I didn't get to testing it. But I knitted it just after the release of this top. I cast it on. It knits pretty fast, because you are knitting once more, you're starting from the back, you are knitting several rounds of short row, then you're picking up for left and right yoke, knitting over here. You can customize your deep wear as you wish. You can go with slightly more deep wear, or you can keep it as mine. And when you're joining the round, you're adding some waist shaping, just to fit it slightly on to your waist, and then you are adding the peplum that knits on like 8 or 9mm needles, so it finishes pretty fast. And you're finishing it with I forget how that called, but you're finishing it with pretty interesting detail as well. You're like knitting several rounds and then knit the first round of that, finishing with the last one, and then you're closing all the stitches. Really like it, but I'm not sure about the yarn that I've used. It was recommended yarn, but I still not sure, but it looks pretty cool to me, so I would rate it as B just because of the yarn that I used. Not sure that it's too comfortable, but the pattern itself really cool. But we are like rating the items that I have, so we're having ratings on what I want to and how I want to rate them. The next knitted top that I want to show you was again a test knit, and while I'm recording this video the pattern hasn't been released yet, but it should be released shortly. This is Dianthus top by Amma Knits. It has, by the way, also a peplum version. I decided to go without it, and I've used exactly 3 skeins of knit and olive cotton merino held double, so if you're looking for some starch busting of that yarn, highly recommend this top. It's flowy, top down knitted top, which is quite easy to knit. I don't know if you see that, but it's funny. I knitted it like in a week, if I'm not mistaken. It has double folded edges on at the top of this top. At the top of it sounds strange, but okay. And you have these ties. I decided to go with ties just because I cord tends to stretch. That's why I like to have like this, not sewing down the straps, so I can tie them. And one more thing why I decided to do like that is just because it's easy to wear this top when you want to layer it, or when you want to wear it without anything underneath, and this may affect the length of the straps. So I decided to have this cute bows. You can just undo them, or again add the bow and wear it. If you need like a deeper armhole, you can go with such thing, and it's quite easy to knit. It's just stocking it and round, and you're finishing when you're ready. And the plus why this top is top down is because you can finish when you end with your yarn. I haven't worn it a lot, but I've styled it several times, and for now I want to rate it as A because I like it and I see a lot of potential in this item. The next summer top that I really love. This is my retro button up by Vitro Design, and this is probably one of my most worn items of the previous year. It's knitted with Sandnes Garn Line. It has slight hazarding because this yarn is a cotton, linen and something else blend, and even in the lightest color it has some hazarding. It has these buttons, it has round neck, I don't know, it's stunning. I decided to go with really contrasting button to add it more visual interest, plus I think that if you're adding buttons which you hate to do, you need to emphasize them. So we have it like that. The only problem with knitting this top was that it's button up, and probably it was my first bottom-up construction, and I think that I slightly cropped the item. It could be slightly longer, but for me it's slightly hard to understand where you can finish. And again, just because it's knitted with a decay weight yarn, I've knitted it like in a week or something like that, and probably need to knit a second one. I have yarn for it even, and probably if it will be a bit longer it would be much nicer, but I still wore it quite a lot, so I wanna give it again superb, great, because definitely love, but the problem with this pattern is that it has not so much of sizes, which is really sad. And one of next items is that I've worn quite a lot as well, like really a lot. So this is La Franja top. It's again a test knit. I knitted it with Pasquale Cumbria and it's so soft. It's really soft, but the problem with this softness is that, I don't know if you can see, but I hope you can see, it shuts. No, it's not shuts, it peels. It peels really much. Slightly hide the fact that it peels so much. And the designer is Jennifer Werner. I think that she's... I forgot her nick on Instagram, I will add somewhere here. It has short I-cord straps, quite high neck, and really beautiful, I want to say like armhole, let's call it an armhole. It really emphasizes shoulders and I like how it looks on me, especially when you're layering it with something, a bow like short, but definitely without short it looks great as well. It's almost bra friendly because you can see just slightly the strap over here, just small amount of strap. I think it's not quite a problem. And the interesting part of this top that you're knitting it inside out, and because who wanna have a lot of pearls, and as you can see, like the pattern has this beautiful stripes. It's like vertical stripes, and you're knitting it like that. So you're not purling a lot, you're just knitting a lot, and you're having one stitch per n stitches as a twisted purl stitch. It's not so, like, not everyone loves to do it, but it's not so much. So it looks like this. The fabric is really breathable. There is no problem with fabric except the fact that it peels, and just because of the peeling I wanna rate it A. It could be like superb, but it peels. But I'm gonna depeel and see how it works. I didn't want to do it before the video, just wanna show you how it peels, especially on the side where I'm wearing my bag. But it's still really cool pattern, and I highly recommend to knit it as well. Let me show you my first ever knitted tank that needs some updates. This is U-top. The designer is Knitting for Olive. I don't remember exactly the name of the person who created their designs, but this is their Knitting for Olive design. You can buy this pattern on their website. And the yarn that I've used is Knitting for Olive Cotton Merino in color Oatmeal. This was my first ever knitted tank, first ever knit on 3mm needles item. It has some holes over here a bit, but I still love it. Now, you know, I told you that retro button-up was my first ever bottom-up construction, but no, this one was it. And I had the same problem, it's slightly too cropped and surprising thin, you know, like the top itself is slightly too cropped while the straps are too long. I have to adjust straps, I need to undo this part of where I sewed it and then shorten it a bit, like several centimeters, like 2 or 3, and then sew them down once more to be able to wear it, because right now it's bra friendly, but you can see my bra sometimes over here and it's not really pleasant for me, just because the top tends to go slightly down and you can see just a bit of the bra and I don't like it. I'm going to rate this as B because it's a good pattern, it's good, really good quality yarn used here. You have a lot of beautiful travel and rib, but I need some adjustments to add, and probably I need to, you know, knit another one which will be slightly better increases and decreases over here, because it really looks cool on the body, but I still see all of these mistakes, and for me it's not. Sometimes I'm a perfectionist and this is bothering me a bit. The next item that I want to show you is this Purl tongue. It was again test knit, and I've knitted it once more with Mandarin Petite by Sandnes Garn. I used not so much yarn, like probably 4 skeins or something like that. It's really easy to knit, but I'm not sure that I like it. I don't like it. Let's be honest. I'm not sure that about this part. It looks interesting, but for me it's quite a bit hot over here, and it's and this rib, like double folded rib, travels to the armhole. I feel it's slightly too warm. Plus, as you can see, the armhole is quite deep, so you can see slightly brown here. Probably I could knit the straps, this part around the armhole, but to reknit it, I have to reknit both of them and the neck, because the neck is knitted after, and it's all double folded rib. So I'm not sure. Probably if I'm going to unravel and fix this part, probably I could knit, like the same, without short rows, the same armhole as on the back of the top. But still, I don't know. Quite not sure. Maybe it will be better for me to repurpose this yarn and to knit something else. It's breathable. The designer is Nitarina. It looks good in photos, but I'm not wearing it, so I would rate it as a D, just because I'm not wearing it. I'm not quite happy with the fit on me, and I can't say that it's a problem of the pattern. Probably it's just, sometimes some items didn't look quite good on you just because of your body shape. I don't know. I've knitted like this. I've knitted according to all recommendation in the pattern, and it's still, I don't know. I don't find it too flattering on me, but I really love how it looks on the designer. The next item that I want to show you is my Ingrid top. The designer is Gregoria Fibers. I knitted it with Drops Bell. It was my first and probably the last time that I knitted with this yarn. I hate it. I don't hate it right now because it's much more softer, but when I started knitting with it, it was horrible. Really, the yarn was so scratchy. I didn't enjoy knitting it. I enjoy, the resulted fabric after wearing it for several times. It's softened a bit, but no. I would go next time with Lina by Sandnes Garn. If you compare this top and this top right now, they look like they are knitted with similar yarn. They have the similar drape, weight, feel, but the process of knitting with this yarn was much better. If you use Drops Bell and in other colors, they're not so scratchy while you're knitting, please let me know in the comments below about it. But let's come back to the top. This is pretty beautiful top that you are knitting happily top down, so you can get what length you want to knit. By the way, I'm not mentioning the size that I've knitted. All the sizes will be on my Ravelry, and if you don't have Ravelry page, you can write me a comment below and I'll answer you, or you can just go to my Ravelry and see the exact yarn, exact amount of yarn I used, size, and the colors of the yarn. So, this is top by Gregoria Fibers with those beautiful eyelets. She has quite a lot in this type, in this type of pattern, stitch pattern. She has sweater, top and cardigan, and maybe she'll come up with something. But probably you've heard about this pattern that the problem is quite deep armhole. And it's true, it's really quite deep. I decided to omit probably 1 or 2 increases, but it's still slightly strange and it's not totally bra friendly for me. I have some problems over here, over here you can slightly see the bra. For example, with this you don't have such problems. Probably I can go and redo the armhole, and I could add some double folded armhole that would cinch it a bit, or keep the same type of the armhole you are knitting, just several rounds of knit stitch, then you're binding off using standard pinned off, in the pattern. And maybe if I cinch it a bit, it will help. I've tried this pattern SB, and this top, I like wearing it. I can still wear it with my shirts, in summer, so it's not a big problem. The yarn I like right now after some wear, and it looks really beautiful. And by the way, if you're worrying about undergarments that may be seen under it, it's not a problem, you don't see it. The only problem may be with the armholes, so you should try it while you are knitting it, and maybe slightly adjust size or go in between sizes. Just try it while you are knitting it. And we have only 2 tops left. The next one is cable cutout. It was again my test knit, one of the first, by the way. It's a quite cropped top with a cutout on the back. This is the name of the cutout. It has a tie with I-cord. It has a fully twisted tree. No, it has half twisted ribs, cables. It's knitted fully in merino yarn. After that top, I decided that probably I don't want to knit Friday tee in full merino yarn, but this one, you know, it's really cropped, so it's not too hot. Plus, I don't really like this cutout right now because it's not totally bra friendly. You may see some part of the bra over here, so usually I'm wearing it with a short, and I'm wearing a lot of items with a short because I had previous year I wasn't sure that I like how my hands look, because I thought that they are too tiny and that tops not suit them, but let's keep it out. Let's keep it somewhere outside. So it has pretty beautiful cables. We had some problems during testing it because there were some mistakes, but it was fixed. It's not too hard to knit, but you have to count rows a bit more. It's not so easy to knit as Minto tee, but it was knitted on 3mm needles, and it's not so much of yarn, it's not so much of work, though it's easy to knit. And I think that I have to revisit this top. I have some leftover yarn, and probably I would go... I don't want to frog this twisted rib, but I have to. I think that I need to go to this part where I have a cutout, and just knit it in the round, remove this cutout and finish it with twisted rib. And I need to redo my neck. I think that flares a bit. It's not that bad in front, it looks okay, but on the back it looks slightly strange. Oh, yes, I forgot to mention the pattern, the designer name is Eleanor Liss. I think that we need to see this summer video how I'm fixing items that I have, and this should be one of the heroes of this video. And I forgot to add the grade to grade this top. Let's have it a B, because it's really cute. I was surprised that I picked up this color. And we need to add some fixes. After that, probably it will be an A, but right now it's somewhere in between B and C. And the last one is this one. This is again knitting for Olive pattern. This is their Yoko top, and I love it wearing with something underneath like short. It looks really cool with short. I made one mistake and I forgot. Over here, probably you can see. I forgot to create a hole for the ties. It's a fully wrapped top, and I like these designs. I like the cardigan that you can wrap. I like top that you can wrap, and this is one of them. Again, over here you can see that my straps... I got lost. Oh my god. Yes, I got lost. I'm sorry. This is a problem of wrapped items. It's hard to see. It's hard to demonstrate them when they're not on you, but you'll see some footage. Instead of full straps, I've added like 2 straps and didn't sew them down on the back, and I'm tying them on my neck so I can again adjust it depending on whether I'm wearing it with a short underneath or whether I'm wearing it without anything. As for the hole that I forgot to add right now, I'm using a pretty interesting hack. I have this small stitch marker that I add to one of the strap one of the ties, and I just, it's knitted with silk, so it's easy to do like that. I'm pulling it through stitches where the hole's supposed to be knitted. I was quite struggling while knitting it because it was once more one of my first tops, and knitting this traveling rib with all of these increases sometimes maybe a little bit intimidating when you are not... okay, I'll put it somewhere here and show you some photos. It may be slightly intimidating to knit something like that because I hate knitting make one purl, but from time to time I have to do it, and right now I'm much better with it. And if you compare rib on this top, if you compare all of these increases here, and let me find it, and at this top, you'll see that this has a lot more holes than this one. So I was getting better in this. Plus, probably pure silk is much more forgiving than cotton merino. I knitted it with Knitting for Olive pure silk, and it is definitely one of my favorite yarn for summer garments. I like this pure silk much more than cotton merino. I don't have a lot of objective reasons why, just it feels like this. As for the rating this top, I would give it a B because of the mistake that I made, plus I'm wearing it only with short, and I think that I had to knit it in a slightly bigger size to pair it with a short, because I chose this size on my bust measurements without short or something like that underneath, so it may be just because of it. But it's still really cool garment. And that's it. And that's it what I have right now knitted. I have one top that I'm knitting right now, but I'm gonna show it on one of my next podcasts. Please let me know below in the comments what patterns have you knitted, to have your favorite summer knit, and are you going to knit any summer knits, or you are not in that club? Have a nice whatever you're doing right now. Have a nice day and see you soon. Bye!